Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of the PMD Tea Buyers Club. I'm your host, Danja Silva. Busy start to the year, a lot of things going on. I've been all up and down the country this month. I was in Sri Lanka last month. Most of you who are following the Instagram would have seen it. This month, what have I got for you? This Thursday tea time, I've got two teas that were produced actually last year. They were produced last year, but the reason why I'm doing this episode is because we're going to launch one of these onto the website. It's going to go as an exclusive initially to our subscriber base. So if you're subscribed to the website, you'll get to see this tea first. If you're not subscribed to the website, get on, subscribe, and wait out for the email that we'll send out to you so that you can know when you can go and try this tea out. The reason why we're doing this particular tea, why we're launching it on the website like this, is because it's limited. It's completely limited in quantity. We bought one chest of this particular tea. It's been going out to the trade over the last few months. We're now going to launch it out to the website now that we've got a bit of an idea how it's moving with some of our trade customers. But this is a limited edition tea. What have I got here in these two cups? Well, today I'm talking about uva tea, and that's what I've got here in these two cups. First of all, I've done a few other episodes about this, but if you're new to the show and you don't know what uva tea is, sit down, let me explain. Uva is a region in Sri Lanka. It's on the eastern side of the island. So if you're in towns like Haputale, Bandarwala, that side of the country, that is the uva region. Within uva, you've got other, valleys, and these particular teas come from one particular valley. Uva tea has its own season, much like the teas in the west. Uva teas pick up a seasonal quality, and the teas improve. Now, this season happens between July to August time. July to August on the east, you get a drought that kicks in, and with that you get wind that blows in from the northeast of the country. So from the northeast you get a very strong wind that comes in, it goes over the mountains, into the valleys, and it hits that tea bush. And any moisture that's left on that bush is evaporated away, and this sends the tea bushes in uva, only in the uva region, into this quality period. Actually, the other region where this takes effect is up at Udapusalawa, which is the region between uva and Norelia. So if you're driving in from Norelia, you'll go into Udapusalawa first, and then you don't have to go into Udapusalawa first, but if you've got Udapusalawa, then you've got uva. Now the Udapusalawa teas are a little lighter than what you'll find in uva. Udapusalawa teas sit at about 5,000 to 5,500 feet around that elevation point. Norelia is at 6,000. Uva teas will go from a medium elevation all the way up to a high grown elevation. So you'll get uva teas that are 3,000 feet further down in the province that are the estates that are closer to Oslanda, and then further up as you go up into the hills, you will start to reach an altitude of around 5,000 feet. These are the two districts, Uva and Udpus, that are affected by this uva season. And what happens in the uva season? These teas take on a unique characteristic of their own. There's nowhere else in the world that will produce tea like that is produced in uva. Absolutely not, you can't recreate it. And tea brands and blends around the world will always like to buy a bit of uva tea, and they will use this to add a bit of X factor to their blend. What we're doing is something a little different. We're offering uva tea from that estate as a straight line for you to enjoy uva tea unblended. It's an acquired taste. It really is for the connoisseur tea drinker. It's limited into what is produced. And here I've got two great examples of what we looked at earlier on last year when we bought uva teas back in August. So what I've got here is I've got two estates from the Malwatte Valley. Malwatte means, if you actually translate Malwatte into English, it actually means flower garden valley. And the Malwatte Valley within uva is home to some of the best estates. So the likes of St. James, what I've got here, uva Highland, Aislabie, these are some of the best uva estates that you'll find, and in Malwatte, that's where they make the best uva teas. So here what I've got is I've got a St. James Pecco, and I have got a Uva Highlands BOP. Both seasonally made, both teas that we looked at, and both really well made uvas. And let me take you through them. First of all, the Uva BOP, the Uva Highlands BOP is what I've got here on my right. It's a much darker cup. Remember, smaller the particle size, the stronger the cup will be. And here I've got a Pecco grade of tea from St. James, and you can see a big difference in cup color. Look at the difference in cup color. The BOP is here on the right. You can see that it's much darker compared to the Pecco. Now, in terms of flavor, uva teas have their own unique flavor. What does this smell like? Let's start off with this Uber Highland. So if you have a look at the leaf here, it's a very, very well-made tea. It's bright, it's coppery, it has a little greenish tinge to it. It's a very well-made tea. If you actually smell the infuser, what are we smelling? Apples, green apples, roses. I was sat next to a bunch of roses at my house recently that's right next to my couch. This smells exactly like those roses. You get this unmistakable hint of wintergreen, of menthol, and it reminds me a little bit of TCP. It's a bit of a TCP smell coming out of this, and there's earthiness. These are the smells that I'm getting out of here. If we look at the St. James, again, very greenish, bright, coppery infusion, a very well-made tea. In fact, which one has a brighter infusion if we were to compare them? The St. James looks the better one. It's a little bit brighter, a little bit more copperier. The Uber Highland is good, but this one is slightly better. If we smell this one, what do we get here? Much more stronger pronounced nose. Much more of that mentholated nose coming through. Again, apples. A little bit of TCP, not as much as what you get out of here. And the reason, partly, is due to the particle size. Smaller particle size means a stronger cup color as well. Definitely getting the menthol out of this. Two very well made Ubers. These are the two that I considered back in August. Now, in terms of taste and flavor, how would you enjoy these? I would recommend enjoying Uber teas on its own. I wouldn't recommend you putting any milk or anything to it. I mean, you can try it, give it a go. But personally, I like to enjoy Ubers plain. Now, if you're not used to drinking Uber tea, this would be a better cup of tea to go with, the St. James. This BOP, let's give it a go, and I'll tell you why. Let's have a taste of this one. Let's actually taste the St. James first, because it's a lighter tea. So if we taste the St. James, it's a wonderful, wonderful tea. It's a lighter tea. You can see a beautiful golden rim sitting in that cup. It's almost starting to cream a little bit after it's sat there for a bit. You're getting a little bit of creaming in the cup. In terms of flavor, fresh green apple on the tip of the tongue. You get this astringent bite that comes through in the mid and side palate of your mouth. Very, very astringent. But with it, you get this nice mentholated TCP flavor through. It's very cold at the moment here in the UK. It was snowing this morning actually where I live. This is a nice type of tea that you can enjoy in winter in front of a fire. It has that bite, it has something to cut through. This is a great tea to either enjoy on its own or have it without milk and pair this to a strong tasting food. Maybe a thick, strong cheddar, maybe even sandwiches, something like roast beef and horseradish. This would work really, really well. This has thickness, this has bite, or if you wanted to, one idea that we tried once a few months back is actually pairing this to a very strong dark chocolate. So if you like chocolate, if you're looking for a tea to pair with chocolate, this is the type of tea that you can use. This strong Uber would work really well with something that has a very high percentage of cocoa in it. This is the type of tea that you can enjoy. If we look at the Uber Highland in comparison, Uber Highland is a BOP grade of tea. This is a Pecco. As a result, the cup color is far, far darker. It's much darker. Again, there's a beautiful golden rim around the cup. There's a little bit of creaming, not as much as what you'll see out of the St. James. Actually, there's probably a little bit more actually out of this Uber Highland if you look at it. Here, I'm expecting much more thickness. So if we have a taste of this, what do you get? Much more astringent. Heavily, heavily astringent. Much more in the mid to back palate. It's very thick. It coats your entire mouth. Very, very thick. You don't get that appley taste right at the tip of your tongue. It's very thick. It coats your mouth with this menthol, astringent, wintergreen taste and flavor. It's an acquired drinking tea. This is almost like drinking Islay smoky whiskies. If you're new into whiskey, going to Islay and having a smoky whiskey like a Lafroig, like an Ardbeg, like a Lagavulin, like a Kalila, that's not where you want to start a whiskey journey off from. You want to start it maybe in the lighter, in the lowlands or in Speyside. This is for the connoisseur, this type of tea. This is for the connoisseur. This really is for the advanced palate. If you really like your teas, this is the next thing to try because it's seasonal, it's light, it's an acquired drinking taste and acquired habit. This Uber Highland, even for me, is very thick. To drink plain, to drink on its own. It's so strong that I personally feel this would work really well in a blend. If you were to take this and you were to take non-seasonal teas and you were to add a little bit of this, it really would give your tea a very nice zip. It would be wonderful to lift up a blend of tea. Is it a good tea to drink plain on its own? I don't think so. It's just too thick for you to enjoy on its own. It's so flavoury, so thick. I don't think you could enjoy this tea on its own. I genuinely can't tell you even I would enjoy this tea on its own. I couldn't drink a cup of that. This, on the other hand, this is the halfway house. This, if you want uva flavour, if you want lightness, if you want something to drink on its own, if you want to pour a pot of this and enjoy this, this is what I would go with. The Pecco. St James Estate Pecco, both from Malwatte, but that larger leaf grade, that larger particle size isn't adding as much thickness and as much flavour to the cup. It's giving you enough flavour, it's giving you enough thickness, but along with it you're getting the aroma, you're getting the uva characteristics coming through. A wonderful bouquet is here on the nose, and again on the palate. And this is what we have actually chosen and what we've bought. So there's a chest of this. We've assigned part of it to the commercial business, but we're offering it out to our website customers. So stay tuned. If you're not subscribed to the website, jump on, put your email address in so that we can send you over an email to let you know when we're going to launch this. We've got a limited amount of packets. Every packet is numbered, so you'll know which number you've been sent through. And every packet is actually signed by me as well, so you can actually know if you know what you're buying, and you can compare this to hopefully what we'll buy later on this year. So jump on our website, add your details and subscribe to our newsletters, and we'll be putting this out 72 hours before it goes on general release to the rest of the website customers that we have. So jump on and try out some genuine, hand-picked, seasonal uva teas. Thank you for watching. Happy sipping.